as if you didn't have enough to worry about, here's something else to worry about, and then we'll talk about what we can do about it. But a new study shows that flies are spreading antibiotic resistance from farms to people. Now, this sounds like esoteric stuff, but it's really not. So first of all, let's talk about the study a little bit. In China, the first systematic study of bacterial resistance to antibiotics of last resort on farms and hospitals in China, meaning they studied both farms and hospitals, has revealed a lot more resistance than standard tests had previously shown, especially when it comes to chicken farms and meat. It reveals for the first time that genes that give bacteria their resistance are being spread by flies. Now, we could go more into the study and we could go into more depth, but what it's basically saying is that when we give a lot of antibiotics and build up antibiotic resistance among farm animals, that resistance can be spread to human beings. Now, these antibiotics of last resort are used to treat bacterial infections that have resisted all sorts of other drugs. One kind is, I'm going to mispronounce this, carbapenems is one kind, but bacteria that have resistance to these drugs, these carbapenems, is increasing. Now, this gets worse as we go along. Colistin resistance, that's another such drug, was first discovered in 2015 in China. It's now been found in 25 different countries. So this tells us a lot. It tells us that as we push to manufacture, in essence, our meat in farm settings, we push to use drugs and specifically antibiotics for more and more purposes in order to maximize the output of these farms. And when we do that, it turns out that we are upsetting the ecosystem, the microbial or the bacterial ecosystem, and we are putting ourselves in danger. Now, we're not just putting ourselves in danger of getting sick and staying sick. When we talk about antibiotics of last resistance, we are talking about putting ourselves in danger even of death. Scientists that have written about this subject, scientists we've had on the show about the subject, scientists that I've talked to about this subject, including doctors, are terrified of the prospects of widespread antibiotic resistance. It's one of the reasons why we are being told by doctors not to use antibiotics so much and to kind of parse out the antibiotics for when we need them. We have a parallel problem, which is the overprescribing of antibiotics in this country for conditions that may or may not even respond to them. So we are really running on the knife edge of a serious problem here of imagine a world where antibiotics didn't work. It's a frightening prospect. So what can we do about it? We can cut down on the overuse of antibiotics, particularly for viral conditions like colds, and we can cut down on our consumption of meat. You know, if you don't want to go vegan, I understand. A lot of us understand, but some people are talking about meatless Mondays. That's been a thing for a while now. Other ways to cut down on your consumption of meat. If you do that, I think it's healthier. I'm not an expert, but I think it's healthier for ourselves as individuals. I know for a fact that it's healthier for the planet and the end for ourselves because it reduces this proliferation of antibiotic resistant diseases and saves lives.